Hello, thank you for joining us. It's Business and Economy, and this is where we discuss issues that concern the economy and business, paving a direction for the economy of the nation. I am Frank Omalape, and joining me on today's program is the Editor-in-Chief of Financial Standard, Bola Onanuga. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you too.
Well, maybe we should begin this way. How broke is Nigeria? There's a story coming up just about yesterday when the Rivers State Governor was speaking at the Thanksgiving of the APC governorship candidate in Rivers State, Peter Side, Dakuku Peter Side, and speaking on that sideline, the governor of Rivers State insisted that Nigeria is broke. Well, I don't know how broke is Nigeria. How would you, comment on that statement?
Well, the person of Amici is not even supposed to make such a statement. It is a very sad statement from a governor from one of the richest states in the country. If Nigeria is broke, he is not the Auditor General of Nigeria. So the auditor, it should be coming from the auditor's office that Nigeria is broke. That is one. Two, the mere fact that oil is not moving as it should, like in the time past, is a factor that everybody will feel that Nigeria is broke because we are monolithic. We will focus only on oil. We're not talking about internally generated revenue from other sources. We're not improving our tax collections. We are not diversifying. So everybody is relying on oil. So when people over-rely on one thing or the other, and then those governors, most of the governors, they have not been doing their homework properly. Okay. If they have been doing it properly, they would have prioritized their positions. That is by making sure that workers' salaries are never hanging. And I think that's the reason why all of them are now laying blame to show that Nigeria is broke.
It's probably, maybe he is talking based on the fact that some of the figures released from the Central Bank Economic Report over the recently, which says that revenue has dropped by 21% in February. Is Nigeria really broke? That's the question. But the report says revenue drops by 21% in February to 560.84 billion naira. CBN's economic report attributed shortfall to oil revenue, and debt profile rises by 7% to 12 trillion naira. So, but Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi insists that Nigeria is broke, and according to him, he is saying that most of the state could not pay his salary. How broke is Nigeria? Looking at it, of course, there was also a report that the debt profile of Nigeria, both at the local level, talking about the state level, and the federal government, has also risen to 12 trillion naira. That's a quick one for you this morning, but let's move away right now. Take a look at some of the earnings that was released in the market as at last week. Revenue of Vitafoams, now talking about Vitafoams earning in terms of their financial year statement in 2014. It's a revenue decline from 16.80 billion in 2013 to 16.713 billion naira in 2014 financial year. However, direct costs slim by 1.83% to 67.71% from 69.55% year on year, which means that from last year till now, the direct cost has also been trimmed down from what it used to be, from 69% to 67%. So earnings after tax up by 11.8% year on year. So that seems to be good news for them. What do you think?
No, it is for the shareholders. It's good news, and for the economy, it's also very good news.
But how would you describe, of course, this impact, these earnings now, the impact? What role will it play? How effective, can it really convince other investors who are waiting to say, okay, let's see what they're going to offer as their dividend for 2014 financial? Let's see. How do you think it will impact?
The part that they have taken was that they have reduced cost of production, which indirectly affected their income, their earnings. You understand? They must have closed some of their operating
Maybe shops around.
the shops around. They might
Okay.
have closed some of them down. They must have retrenched in
Okay.
one way or the other. So by doing that, cost of production will definitely come down. Then maybe the present management there may be doing something wonderful in the area of cutting costs at every level. I'm sure they must have retrenched.
Which may be a strategy for most
Of
companies
course, now
now,
it's
just
a
to cut
strategy
costs.
to overcome the bad days. There is no company in that axis that will just remain to be doing things the way they are doing it. Again, don't forget that this is the computer age. They might have brought in new technology, which might be helping them to actually do foreman job. I mean, when you have 16 people doing one job, and you can assist with computer in all hemisphere, then you realize that you will cut costs at that
Interesting.
level. So that might be one of the reasons. But the drop in revenue does not actually matter because it's a very slim drop.
Interesting.
It's a very slim drop, and yet earning rose.
Okay.
Earning rose, so the shareholders are waiting for their dividends.
Well, that's again also might be probably as a result of the global, because we understand that when the oil falls at the global market and it's affecting the nation's economy, is also a kind of a bandwagon effect.
No, it has no.
Is that what you're saying?
No, it has no effect. The fact that they are not selling oil now, so there is no way oil will have direct impact.
No,
on them.
I'm talking about the revenue really now. Even
That's
though
Nigeria.
they were able to trim down, even though the what I say now that the cost of production or cost of management and cost of what you call the direct cost of management was trimmed down. I'm also talking about the revenue, which is also dropped. They didn't make money like. But the question I'm asking is that, do you think this might attract investors from outside
it will.
to really invest
will-
into
it will.
Vitaphone, the
It
shares
will.
of Vitaphone?
No, it will, because the first thing you look at is the bottom line. And the bottom line shows that their earning went up. You understand? We're not more looking at
The gross revenue.
the
now.
gross revenue now. We're
Alright.
looking at the earnings. It went up. And every shareholder or investor will be interested in a company where there is a management effectiveness in managing cost.
Interesting. Let's move away quickly now and take a look at what's happening now in Abuja. Right now, the Monetary Policy Committee is ongoing now, and the highlight of most of what we're to see there or to discuss in that meeting will include a review of global effects in terms of oil prices and how much that can impact into the nation's economy, and a whole lot is going to go down. But what do you expect? Analysts say they don't expect the monetary policy to change from the current 13% as it is now. What do you think will likely play out
No,
in
it's going to
these
change.
two meetings?
It's going to change. And the reason why it will change is because of the problem with the exchange rate. One, the CBN is going to be hard on banks so that they will not have enough cash to buy dollar. And you see, it's just the business of supply and demand now.
Okay.
So they will make sure that they fine-tune or tighten the rope around the banks so that they will not have enough money to be round-tripping. That is just the basis for coming to this meeting, because if anybody is saying that they will not change, that the MPC will not change anything, that means there is no basis for holding the meeting.
But do you think this meeting might be a major determinant for the incoming government, or what might play out in terms of policies and what we might see in foreign policies, either in business, financial sector, and all other sectors of the economy?
No, it will have effect because they are going to change. They are going to they are going to tighten the noose around the banks. And once they tighten it, there will be no money in circulation. There will be nothing for the manufacturing industry to buy, to borrow. There will be none for oil companies to borrow into. So all these things will play around both businesses And the regulator is also trying to hold on to his job because he knew that the people who are coming to government, they are also fantastic financial managers. So he wants to keep his job. And as a result, he will do everything possible. He will have tapped into their knowledge and ask them what do they want. And so that is what he's going to play.
Let's play down a little bit. Perhaps the change we're expecting, maybe like you said, comes to pass in terms of reducing it from what it is now. Let's say by 1%, we now see to 12% or 11%. We may not know what exactly will come out. Perhaps it happened that way. What impact would this have on the economy in general?
Well, if they reduce interest rate, it will have a great impact on the entire economy of Nigeria, because many people will be able to go to the banks and take money to use it for the several businesses that they want to use it for. That is one portion of it. But if it goes up, it will be difficult for businesses to tap into the banks because interest rate also will go up. You understand?
Interesting.
We are looking forward to a situation whereby interest rate, the MPR can come down. Then the cash reserve ratio for public fund should also come down from 75%. You understand? So if all these ones played out like one expect, because you have almost taken light away from the banks. So, and without the banks, businesses cannot operate properly because you need money from the banks to oil the system. And the bank themselves, they need money, they need to give money out so that they can make profit from it. Because if they are not borrowing, they are not making anything.
Interesting. Well, I want to say, let's see what will happen there, and we'll begin to expect that the outcome will be positive, and the impact in the economy in general will also be positive as well. Well, I want to leave it at this one now, so that we go away from here and take a look at what is happening in the world now, talking about the world market headlines. If you take a look at your newspapers today, what you have is the fact that the prices in London, talking about the London property market, is dropping over election concerns. And the asking price for London homes is falling in 9 months in May as concern about potential property tax changes before the election could demand. The prices dropped by 2.3% from April, led by top-priced Kensington and Chelsea, and we're up by 1.5% from a year. So if you're into property and you want to buy houses in London, I'm thinking this is the time to buy, looking at the fact that the price is dropping on the global market. What do you think?
I think so as well. Because if the London market for property is shedding tears now, I think more Nigerians will rush there, especially politicians. Especially at National Assembly members who did not make it back to the to the 8th session. So they will probably go in there and buy. And then there are some other companies as well, great property players in the Nigerian market, that will quickly go and buy. I know of that. So,
but what is this about the property market in the UK, London, and it seems to be a major sector of the economy that drives the economy. But back here, we rarely see the sector, the real estate sector now, impacting, just like we have in other developed countries.
No, the point is in Nigeria, whatever goes up will not come down. So that is the kind of lifestyle we're used to. But in UK, people are more enlightened. People are more enlightened. People travel globally to do businesses. And they will look at it that if today the prices drop, they will quickly cash in on it. In Nigerian market, whatever goes up will never come down. But in UK market, it's all by supply and demand situation. If you don't have money,
you cannot
go and be buying things like that.
Well, let's move away from that now. We hope that some people are listening right now and they could invest into the property market in the UK. But let's move away from that and take a look at this. Iran Deputy Oil Minister says OPEC might likely cut the output. That's what they're saying. The organization of petroleum exporting countries is unlikely to implement a production cut at its next meeting in June. Just a few weeks from now, they will be meeting and be deciding whether to cut their output from the usual 2.8 billion, or rather million barrels, or to reduce it from what it used to be, because in Nigeria the output has dropped from 2 to 1.8 million barrels per day. Well, it may not be the good news that we're expecting, but let's move away from there and also take a look at these as well. And as the Asian shares struggle on doubt over U.S. economic momentum, here in Nigeria the market is open now about 1.5 hours. The market is trading right now, but in US, talking about the Asian Pacific market, is closed at the moment, and but in US it will be open by 2:30 Nigerian time. But in Asian Pacific, it's now quite the market is down by 0.4%. And then take a look at Britain FTSE and the France's CAC 40 as at the weekend, seen rising by 2.0%. Though analysts say a lot depends on whether bond market. Well, let's take a look at the relationship between the other stock market around the world and here in Nigeria or in African continent. How do you say they relate really?
There is no economy that is static. It goes up and comes down. The Nigeria is part of the global players. We have the largest economy in Africa, even though it's not translating to bread and butter for Nigerians. Saying this means that the entire world is a global economy. Nobody can play over it. Nobody has the power to dictate anything. The shale oil that the American dropped, it did not only affect Nigeria, it affected the entire global economy. Because even Russia, which is one of the largest oil producers in the world, they are also not selling anything. Their currency has become worse than even that of Nigeria now. So when you look at all this, and people are not even buying oil like we used to sell. 40% of our oil used to go to US. US is not buying for now. So, and that is creating what we call global glut for everybody. So it's not just, it's only China now that people are looking at that they will be buying oil, and it will take some time. Except OPEC drops its output, the glut in the market will continue. It won't rise after some time again.
Well, interesting. It will not rise after some times again. Let's quickly take a look at the Egypt unemployment statistic there. A report says that it has fallen to 12.8% in fourth quarter, citing an improved economic outlook. The government statistic agency said on Sunday Egypt's unemployment rate fell to 12.8% in the first 3 months of 2015 compared to 13.4% in the same period a year ago. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has pledged to reduce joblessness to 10% over the next 5 years. So that's exactly what we're witnessing back here in Nigeria, where government is promising to reduce unemployment in Nigeria. So we're witnessing all over Africa, job seems to be a problem. And now, is this a kind of a global syndrome, so to say? Though this is a good news for Egypt. The Egyptians now, the government is promising them after the overthrow of the former military head of state, talking about Morsi now, okay, who was sentenced to death. Was sentenced to death as at 2 days ago, though it has not been confirmed as it is now. But taking a look at it, do you think this is a global issue that really needs urgent attention? We produce thousands of graduates year in, year out, but when they come back, there is nothing to fall back on.
It is because managers of our economy, they are blind to sensitivity of the regenerating employment. If they are not, by now, you cannot find any statistics in Nigeria that will give you this is the number of unemployed graduates. This is a country that somebody is saying that 12% unemployment. We cannot say it here because we don't have statistics. People go to university.
Where the National Bureau of Statistics do say that the unemployment has reduced from 23.1 or 2% in 2011 to 6.4. That's according to the National Bureau of Statistics.
The Bureau of Statistics is just dishing out information that it is only those of them there that believe in their own information. Because the current index that they have given us, you will find out that it is not a true reflection of the economy. So nobody can come and tell you that unemployment has fallen from 23% or something. That's not possible now. Where are you employing them? Is it in the ministry? Or have they created farms for them to come and be making money or what?
Well, let's quickly run through this again and see happening now. The MPC meeting is ongoing in Abuja. I need to be holding between now and tomorrow. So we expect, like Bola Onanuga said earlier, that there will be a change as against, contrary to the expectation of most analysts, that this might remain unchanged after the meeting, and they'll be rounding up the meeting tomorrow. Well, on this note, I want to thank you for being with me on the show for this analysis this morning. Thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Well, we'll take a break now on business and economy. We'll continue later after this timeout.